All right, everybody, so it is that time of the week, a new batch of eShop deals, and this is a really good one. Like 15 games or so, everything from AAA kind of heavy hitters through to hidden gems, all that good stuff, and yeah, tons to take you through. And before we do get into this video, though, I do want to say we're trying something a little bit different this week. No script. I always use a script. Everybody comments, they can tell I'm reading a script because it's harder than it looks, I promise you. So we're going without. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments down below. Positive or negative feedback, I don't mind. I'll take it all. I just want to know your thoughts. I want to make sure that my number one job here is to provide you with good information. So let me know, is the information still good? Is it of the quality you've come to expect from SwitchCorner? Also as well, when you drop that comment, you're going to be entering our giveaway anyway this week, which is one of two $10 eShop gift cards. We've got two winners to announce later in this video, and this week's entries, the winners will be announced next Saturday. All right, with that, do me a massive favor here, subscribe. We are about to go all out on content on the channel with the Switch 2 around the corner. We are bringing back the Thursday under $10 eShop videos as well this week, as well as this Saturday one. And we will actually be going over the next couple of weeks now back to daily content because Switch 2 is going to get wild. All right, rambling over, onto the deals. All right, so Mortal Kombat 1 is up first. It's 67% off, a new low price. Now, that is in the US and Canada. In the UK, EU, and Australia, it matches the low price, but do know about 3-4 hours after this video goes live, that sale will be over. So if you want it, you got to be quick. But yeah, what can I say? It's, well, first of all, incredibly ugly. There's no question about that. I will not try to hide it. I'll be very transparent. However, if you look underneath the visuals, I think there's a very competent, very good fighter in here. And if you like Mortal Kombat and the Switch is your only way to play, it is more than worth this price, in my opinion. So what are you getting here? Ton of options, ton of modes. Story mode may grate with some longtime fans, but basically the concept here is Liu Kang has become a fire god. He has reshaped the universe and he's basically created a peaceful new era. Of course, all hell breaks loose because what's a fighting game in a peaceful era? But what fans might not like is your favorite characters. They're all here, but they do have, let's say, reimagined backstories. I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it. There's also a single player option with kind of RPG elements and unlockables, which is really cool, really unique. And yeah, it's Mortal Kombat, so expect here really good fighting systems, tight as anything controls, tons of characters, and a load of options. Multiplayer's local and online, of course. There's tutorials, training, practice, customization, arcade ladders to climb, all that good stuff. So yeah, again, bloody ugly, but the combat's great fun. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. I only played this myself recently, and now it's 30% off, a new low price. But now I've been hands-on, can wholeheartedly recommend it. It's up there kind of with, it's not quite to the tier of Shredder's Revenge, but it's not far off. What I do appreciate, though, is Digital Eclipse, the publisher and developer. They are dropping tons of updates for it. Most recently, they actually added in support now for up to 6 players online and local, which is really cool stuff. It's a typical brawler. The story isn't the main focal point, let's face it, but basically, Rita in the future has built a Robo-Rita, and she sent it back in time for a portal to basically destroy the Power Rangers alongside herself. So you got 2 Ritas. It's a bad time for everybody. But the combat is solid, really fun. Some really unique moves in here, which I do appreciate. Pixel art is stunning throughout. Soundtrack is really just, you know, probably not going to listen to it offline, but it's good fun. And I think most importantly, you can jump into the cockpit of the Megazord and you'll take on these boss fights, which is very cool. So yeah, look, if you're a Brawler fan, I'd say it's worth checking out. If you're a Power Rangers fan, it's an easy must-buy. Alright, so big thanks to Untold Tales for sponsoring today's video with their upcoming release of Bearnard launching May 9th, and you can pre-order it right now for 20% off. I will link to that in the pinned comment below. But what is Bearnard, you ask? Well, here you'll be stepping into the furry paws of a grumpy but gifted bear archer. You are thrust into a quest to reclaim a bow, while also to protect your woodland home. It is a single-player, story-driven adventure, but yeah, expect to explore tons of landscapes, battle hordes of enemies, solve puzzles, and meet a cast of delightfully odd characters. Now, the combat is really the standout. It's a clever mix of turn-based card strategy and precision archery. So here, expect over 60 plus unique cards, all with different skills. You know, you got to build a powerful deck. Think ones that heal, trap, blast, or even do things like steal armor. Then when it comes to attacking, you'll actually aim and shoot your arrows. It's basically tactical thinking meets skill-based action. Visually, then, it draws inspiration from 8-bit era platformers, some classic landscapes in here, lush forests, snowy peaks, dungeons, and of course, they're all packed with secrets to uncover. Another great element of the game then as well, I've actually been hands-on with it already, you'll be using physics to your advantage, launching crates, dropping chandeliers, and triggering traps with well-placed shots. So yeah, overall, my take of the game is it's a really unique blend of card battling, puzzle solving, platforming, and physics-based action. And then it's all rolled into this kind of charming, but still challenging journey. So yeah, grab Bearnard when it launches May 9th, or even jump in the eShop now and pre-order it for 20% off. Alright, the thing remastered is 25% off, another new low price, and this is a remake of the 2002 third-person survival horror shooter. I adored this game back in the day because I love the movie, the 1982 film. And basically, where the movie ended, that's where this game begins. And you are taking on the role of Captain Blake. You are the leader of a Special Forces rescue team, and you are sent to investigate Antarctica and basically what occurred at Outpost 31. So, yeah, you know the drill here. You arrive, all hell breaks loose, go try and kill the thing. But the gameplay is really unique. Back in 2002, at least it was. The concept was you could actually direct and control your squad around you. Now, I will say I didn't do much of that in my playthrough of this remaster, but they can actually transform as well, meaning the thing, for those that may not know, it can take over, it can transform into different forms. So basically, it can become human. And when it does that, they can be on your squad, they transform, they attack you. Back in the day, that was so very, very cool, honestly. It was such a good connection to the movie. However, in 2025, it feels like it happens every 5 minutes, and it does get a little frustrating because you can't really connect with this crew around you. This said, though, it is minor. I still had a ton of fun, and my only other complaint is the end of the game is a little bit too action-heavy when the controls can't quite match what the game wants you to deliver. I always felt that way as well back in the day, and now we've got quality of life improvements. Controls are improved. Visually, it looks bloody beautiful, this game. Cutscenes in particular. So yeah, the thing remastered, look, you're going to feel its age if you play this one, but if you played it originally and you loved it, it's well worth revisiting. And if you don't mind kind of OG Resident Evil kind of vibes, again, it's early 2000s, this one, so it's definitely showing its age and how it plays. I definitely think it's worth taking a look at. I think it was a hidden gem back in the day, and I'd love for it to kind of, break out of that in 2025 because the game deserves it. All right, Yars Rising, 40% off, a new low price. You're going to hear that quite a lot in this video today. But this is an interesting one. I have no experience with Yars, and this went in a completely different direction. It's a 2D action-adventure game. It's got elements of kind of Metroidvania, and it's really all about... there is action, but it's actually more about exploration and stealth. You're playing a hacker, and you're basically hired by some... mystery person to infiltrate a corporation. So yeah, run, jump, sneak, and hack your way through the world. What they've done really interesting is the hacking. It's all kind of mini games, and they're all like throwbacks to what Yars once was. Again, I don't have that experience. When I was looking into this before launch, people were questioning why it's even called Yars. But when you actually see it in motion, it actually works quite nicely as a combination. The only thing I don't like with this game is the visuals. I think it looks a little bit cheap personally. But everything else around it is actually very well done. It actually comes from Way Forward, incredible studio. They made Shantae, River City Girls, etc. So truly like high caliber, and they show it here. So yeah, if you want a 2D platformer with some light action, but mostly kind of sneaking around, definitely an interesting one. I'd say watch a review first. I don't think it's a must play or anything like that. But yeah, cool concept. Definitely a bold move to kind of take it this direction. And I actually think it paid off. All right, the Turok Trilogy bundle, and we've got a lot of like retro games so far in this video, but that's going to change in a moment as well. But look, 75% off, a new at low price, and like Night Dive Studios, they did the Thing remaster. They are experts at this. I don't know if it's a genre, but rebuilding classics. And yeah, Turok is no different. Really good port, includes 3 games. The first was released like all the way back in 1997. It was like Golden Age, or like, well, GoldenEye and, Perfect Dark, etc. This was a really fun dinosaur spin on that, I guess. First-person shooter. don't know what else to say, really. Again, it's going to show its age, but visually, they give it a nice graphical bump. Controls-wise, it is nice to have 2 analog sticks to, move around. And if you want to shoot up some dinosaurs, probably, well, there's not many better ways to do that than the Turok Trilogy. All right, so Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Effector. 20% off, a new low price, and I love this series. The first game was a masterpiece, and I actually think this one is too. The first game was all about being on a space station. This time, we're actually on the run. We've got our own spaceship. It's really cool. For those that may not know, in Citizen Sleeper, you basically play as a sleeper. So that is an emulation of a human mind housed in an artificial body. Now, though, for this one, we are on the run from the corporation. In the first game, we were kind of existing on, let's say, the fringes of society, all the way out in space. But yeah, we're going to basically take over a ship, build a crew and allies, and then take on contracts. So we're just basically trying to build that future for ourselves. This is very much a tabletop-inspired game. If you played something like Disco Elysium and you enjoyed that, you will love this game. It's all about rolls of the dice, making difficult decisions. It's really all about how you spend your days. And yeah, I'd say you don't need any experience with the first game as well, which I actually didn't expect going in, but I think you could play them both standalone and enjoy either of them. But yeah, really cool. I don't want to go into too much detail on this one. I think there is so much to uncover. I've actually played through it twice at this point. It's about 10-hour runtime. One thing I like about that is it's an RPG that's 10 hours. And let's face it, it's a genre where they can be hundreds of hours. It is nice to have something that's just really well written, really well done. It looks beautiful. And you can kind of like play it in, a few days rather than a few months. So yeah, Citizen Sleeper. If you haven't played the first game, check that one out too. If you like narrative-driven RPGs, this game is a masterpiece. SteamWorld Heist 2. And SteamWorld is just I won't call it a series, but like it's a universe that is just consistently quality. Like they rarely miss. I think the lowest probably scoring game in this series is SteamWorld Build, and even that was bloody good. But this one is a turn-based strategy, and I tell you what, if you want really fun, really entertaining turn-based combat 2D, this is the game for you. Basically, it's really simple. You're going to be moving your crew around these worlds, and essentially, it's all about aiming at the perfect shot. So you're going to be ricocheting bullets off the walls in the environment, so you're trying to outsmart your enemies in that way. But what it leads to is this like just really rewarding sense of like achieving trick shots, and it is just so well done. On top of that, then there is tons of customization in here. Over 150 weapons, items, ship upgrades, crew customization. It's all here. You will spend, I think, easily 40 hours getting through the main story, and that's without completing everything. So tons of bang for your buck here. And the story is actually quite interesting. Basically, there's a water crisis, and you as the captain and your crew, you must basically get out there, steam bots, and uncover what's occurring. Is there a threat behind it, and how do we save our town, basically? It's kind of easy to digest, but yeah, it's got that usual SteamWorld sense of humor. So yeah, look, 50% off. I think that is a steal for a ton of gameplay. All right, so NieR Automata, and this game is, quite frankly, a masterpiece. It's a post-apocalyptic action RPG. It is, yeah, everyone should play this game. Square Enix actually, as well, I should say, have a massive sale on right now on the eShop. So if you do want to find your Final Fantasies, all that good stuff, that is actually on sale right now. But I always have to highlight NieR. I think what makes this game so unique is its narrative is so well done. So basically, there's these invaders, they attack from another world that forces humankind to leave Earth. We're actually taking refuge on the moon now. But as 2B, we are a member of what is a android military, basically, and we are fighting to take back the planet. And it is just epic, but actually a really emotional story as well, which you may not expect. It sounds like a basic setup. It really isn't. I will give you one clue, and say, when you see the credits for the first time, it's just the beginning. Do keep that in mind. But otherwise, I think everyone should play this. Even if action RPGs are not normally your thing, the places this game goes, it's crazy. Even the opening moments, you'll go from like side-scrolling sections to top-down. Enemies are like bullet hell patterns. It is wild. And yeah, again, I'll keep it simple. It's a masterpiece. All right, so SHINOBI non-GRATA, and retro fans, look, it's 30% off, matching the low price. I had a blast with this. Now, it is not a remake, of course. It is just inspired by, but very much the visuals, the difficulty, the challenge, it is all there. This feels like it was lifted straight out of straight out of the 90s, basically. And yeah, it's just a hardcore 2D ninja action game. Ninja Gaiden, I Envision was the poster child for this development team. I believe it's Studio Pico, if I'm correct. But yeah, basically the concept's really simple. There is a clan leader who is trying to overthrow the government by teaming up with demons, and you need to get out there and stop them. What does that mean? It means killing everybody with your sword. What I really like about this game, though, is it's got kind of some modern sensibilities in the sense it's got multiple weapons and special abilities, and you can basically switch around them at the top of the screen, and it adds just like this new element to, what you would typically see historically. But yeah, really cool game. Not much else to add, honestly. You'll know instantly from the trailer and the footage in the background here if this is a game for you. All right, so Europa is 30% off, a new low price, and this one it's far from perfect, but I will say this: if you're in the right mood, if you want something that is meditative, that is cozy, that's just kind of a simple laid-back journey, if you're in the frame of mind for that, I think you can have fun with this. I enjoyed it myself. Again, not perfect, but just really fun exploration. It's kind of all about flying around this world, powering up your kind of jetpack that you've got, and you're exploring this world, which essentially once housed a society, and now everyone's disappeared, and you're kind of getting to the bottom of what occurred while receiving these notes from your father, who actually sent you here. Not a lot else to it, honestly. I will say it's Studio Ghibli inspired. You can see that in the visuals. The only problem is on the Switch, I will say visually, it's far from perfect. It's heavily pixelated, a lot of popping, there is some slowdown. Because there's no action or combat, I didn't mind it so much personally, but I do want to warn you of that. Unfortunately, it's just kind of part and parcel of these games that are releasing like late 2024, early 2025. Now the hardware is just struggling. So I'm hoping Switch 2 will help with games like this. But look, otherwise, like if you want cozy, you want an adventure, it's short, about 4 hours. I do think it's worth a look. All right, so Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven was one of my favorite RPGs of 2024, if not my favorite. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. it is a full 3D remake of the original 1993 RPG. It is bloody difficult. I will put that warning out there. There is difficulty options, so be aware of that. This game was notoriously hard back in the day. They've definitely found ways to soften it up in moments, but visually looks stunning. The rebuild from 2D to 3D is so well done. The music is as impressive as ever. And I think what makes this game so special is the fact that you have a succession system. So basically your character, you're going to be playing through hundreds of years. You'll make a character at the beginning of the game and you probably won't see them for like 20, 30 hours at least. But basically, yeah, you'll inherit different abilities from that previous individual as you move through kind of the history of the timeline of this world. And story-wise then, the 7 heroes basically were, well, yeah, they were heroes. They fought to save the human race, and people loved them, people celebrated them, but then over the years, that kind of, I guess, praise dwindled, and it turned into kind of people fearing their power. So they were banished. Probably a bad idea if they were this bloody hard. But like, of course, they come back, they want vengeance, and this is now your job. You're taking on the 7 heroes. So yeah, look, honestly, again, the RPG elements of this game are just incredibly well done. The combat is so very cool. United Attacks, for example, is a new feature where all your characters will fight together. And yeah, look, I'll put my full review below. If you want to learn more about it, find that in the pinned comment, but very cool game. All right, so Warm Snow, 40% off, matching the low price. And like, there's been a ton of roguelikes since, Hades and Dead Cells kind of appeared on the scene. This is a game that owes a lot to Hades, and there's tons of them out there. But I actually think this one is a little unique. The combat feels a little bit different. I like the stylized kind of violence. It's, white snow, red blood. It looks just very cool. And basically the concept here is essentially, well, if you didn't guess it, warm snow is falling, and that snow is transforming the population into monsters. So you basically get out there, you're trying to find out what the source of this mystery weather is, I guess. And what that entails is killing absolutely bloody everything in sight. Nice and simple setup. Combat is great fun. Tons of weapons to uncover. I really enjoyed that element of it. It's on the shorter side for the genre, I will say that. Probably it took me about 6-7 hours, I'd say. About maybe 5 to 6 hours, actually. But I know people that have done it in a couple of hours because with a game like this, you can get lucky with a build. Depends on your skill level as well. But I've actually went back to it 2 or 3 times now. I do think, honestly, it is a hidden gem of this genre. And yeah, not enough people talk about it. So here we are. Again, 40% off. Goes on sale relatively frequently, but it deserves more love. Alright, so Star Ocean, the second story art, is 40% off. That matches the low price, and this is an incredible game. So for those that may not know, this is actually the second game in the series. It has been remastered. So basically, it's got that 2.5D aesthetic, which is what you can thank Octopath Traveler for. And the concept here is basically we're transported to this mysterious planet, and while we're looking for a way home, we encounter a young girl, and we're now helping her on this quest to save her people. What I love about this game, though, is it's got this dual protagonist system, which I think is really interesting. Basically, depending on the choices you make, the perspectives and the allies you can actually recruit, they change, so it changes your party. The battles are actually quite fast-paced. Yes, it is turn-based, but they do some really interesting things here, like Break, which continuously deals damage. I think it's a little bit more engrossing, let's say, than the typical genre entry. Aside from that, then, different difficulty modes, really special soundtrack, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know what else to add, honestly. It is absolutely stunning to look at, though. Just look at the trailer. But look, if you haven't played the first game as well, I would highly recommend it. It didn't quite get this treatment, unfortunately, but that one's on sale as well right now for 70% off. And yeah, again, Square Enix, tons of games on offer. Tactics Ogre, Octopath Traveler, yeah, tons in there. So maybe go and take a look at that next. All right, so just quickly before our final game of the video, our 2 winners for the 2 $10 eShop gift cards, their names are on screen right now. Congrats both. Email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next Saturday's video. Guilty Gear Strive is 34% off. It's a new low price. It's a relatively recent release, back in January of this year, and this game is a masterpiece. I will be reviewing it on the channel. I actually reviewed it originally on PlayStation 5, and at the time I said I'd love this game on the Switch, but I don't think the hardware is capable of it. I was actually hoping it might be like a Switch 2 launch title, and then Arc System Works out of nowhere announced it and dropped it, and look, I was wrong. The Switch camera in it, and it looks just freaking like stunning. This game is beautiful. The combat is fantastic. The roster is, honestly, 28 characters in here. Everyone feels so different. There's going to be a fighter for everyone. And yeah, I can't praise this game enough. Look, does it look better on PlayStation 5? Of course. You got 4K, you got all that good stuff. But this is way beyond anything that I expected. On top of that, you've got rollback netcode for the online battles. Always a good thing. And yeah, I mean, look, if you want a fighting game 1v1, you don't mind spending a bit of extra cash over, say, Mortal Kombat at the beginning of this video, this game is stunning. I think it's easily, pretty much the best on the system. It's alongside Blaze Blue for me, which is my personal, I guess, side-by-side favorite with Guilty Gear. The only warning I will give with this is its story mode is intense. I didn't have much experience with Guilty Gear, and I think it went over my head, to be honest with you. It's basically a 6-hour story that follows the conclusion of Soul's journey. You could, of course, do some research before you jump into it and kind of catch up. But yeah, it's dialogue heavy. It's basically a visual novel, so that's not going to be for everyone. There's also another story, which is actually a full-length story cinematic that details everything that's been happening in the background. I wish I had the experience to appreciate what they've done there. If you are a fan again, I'm sure you will. But for everyone else, just a heads up. There's no, come here for the fighting. The story is probably going to be a little bit potentially lost on you. And that is the video down. Again, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the video, the style, the changes we've done here a little bit. Also, what games you're picking up. Would love to hear about them too. Then, if you did enjoy the video, do me one quick favor, subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount, honestly, and it is seriously appreciated. All right, with that, I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers all.